Welcome to the course EC 6203 Reconfigurable System Design. So, today we will discuss about introduction to VLSI design flow. So, before starting let us have a brief outline of the course. So, as far as outline is concerned, first we will discuss about the aspects of hardware design. This course basically deals with design of digital system design in hardwares. So, what are the different aspects of hardware design that we will try to understand from this course. Then after that how the different digital design can be modeled by using Verilog SDL coding language, hardware description language, that we will try to understand. Followed by Verilog SDL is used to design digital design. At the same time it is also used to it also uses synthesis process to create hardware out of a RTL netlist. So, there are basic constructs available for the Verilog SDL, which are called as synthesis constructs. So, these synthesis constructs of Verilog SDL we are going to discuss. Followed by, as the name indicate of the course, it is reconfigurable system design. We will try to understand and study the different architecture of different reconfigurable architectures. One such example is field programmable gate array FPGA. In digital design we find many times important challenges like timing issues, under which one important question always industry people used to ask is called as starting timing analysis. So, mostly all the industry in campus they used to ask all these questions. So, we thought to incorporate those also here in this syllabus. So, it will be on static timing analysis, and what are the tools used for doing static timing analysis, those can also be discussed in this topic. This time I am also trying to introduce system Verilog hardware verification language HVL, that is used after the digital design is done. So, we can we have to verify the digital design by certain languages. Okay. So, if it is a small gate design, you can write a test bench in Verilog and you can simulate it, but if there is a big design like system on chip, entire system inside one IC, so in that case a simple test bench writing will not help you to verify the entire system. So, that is why a promising language which is mostly used also in industry, in VLSI industry, called as system Verilog, which is an enhanced version of Verilog is used. So, that also I will try to teach in this syllabus. Okay. So, this lab course, this theory course also have a corresponding lab course, reconfigurable system design. In that we will try to model digital design using Verilog, and also we will try to implement the design in reconfigurable architectures FPGAs. Okay. So, this is the outline of the design. So, today we will basically first 2-3 classes of the course is to understand the why we want to study this course, okay, and what are the different aspects of hardware and what are the VLSI design flow that has to be understood for a beginner. Okay. So, that will give you a boost to carry forward study in this area as well as career in this area. Okay. So, this is the first slide, aspects of hardware design. So, again here I have divided a small outline. Initially we will start from introduction. In introduction we will discuss about different aspects of hardware design, and hardware can be described in basically three different ways. One is called behavioral model, structural model and physical model. Okay. And followed by the, so that we will see in detail, followed by hardware design methodologies what industry used to use for designing entire SOC, that we will discuss. So, within this few are like top down design approach, bottom up design approach, and sometimes if circuit is so complex, so we may go for a mixed top down and bottom up design approach. Okay. So, followed by we will also study the VLSI design overview, where we will see what are the different abstraction levels are there in the VLSI design flow. Followed by we will also discuss design flow. what are the different terminology and what are the design and aspects and what are the tools we should learn, and or in each design flow what are the tools are supported and that are required or the knowledge are required for you to completely understand the flow, that is we will discuss. And finally, there are two design steps in detail we will discuss are called as VLSI design steps. These are consists of in brief architecture design, RTL design, register transfer level logic design, logic level design which is also termed as gate level design. Further gate level design are again divided into transistor level design. Okay. And finally, transistors has to be in the form of silicon. So, it has to take a shape of physical transistor. So, that is called as physical design. So, these are the design flow used in standard IC design processes, we can say like application specific IC design. So, it is a complete and a big design flow is there. So, which we have to understand. So, if you will understand the importance of the design flow, then only you can opt for a particular domain to work, and corresponding CAD tools you have to understand it properly, and that understanding of the tools along with the practice will add on to your theory to understand the entire flow again easily. Okay. So, lastly, the outline consists of design flow using SDL. So, the difference between VLSI design steps and design flow are a bit different. Like VLSI design steps is nothing but it is for a ASIC design flow, IC design flow, which consists of the entire design flow whatever I have listed here in the sub modules. But design flow using SDL, which is only will use Verilog SDL, and how we can use reconfigurable architecture to implement those architectures. Okay. So, those are part of design flow using SDL. Okay. So, coming to next slide, aspects of hardware design. So, there are three fundamental aspects of a hardware. So, first is called as behavioral, second is called structural, and third is called physical. So, in detail if you will see, as the name indicate, behavioral deals with the behavior of the hardware. So, here behavior indicates what is the functionality of the hardware, what is the speed of the hardware. So, either how it is, how it will works, what it will deliver as a output, at the same time what is its timing parameters, and what will be its speed of operation. So, when an engineer is dealing with behavioral level of modeling, he is not aware of the structural, he does not worry about the structural modeling, understood. So, these two aspects. So, when we are working with behavioral level modeling, so knowledge of structural details hardly requires. Okay. So, this is to specify the behavior of the design, okay, of a system. Then followed by, in order to know what actually it is doing, how it is doing, what it is doing is a behavior, but how it is doing, what architecture or what block in the design is actually doing the specified operations. In order to know that, we need to know about the structural aspects of the hardware. Okay. So, it deals with the scheme of hardware construction. So, what are the different blocks that will be connected with each other, and so that it will do the specific application. Okay. So, that is called as it deals with the scheme of hardware construction, and which parts are used for designing and how they are connected. So, when it is coming to structural is concerned, so mostly we will deal with the internal architecture of the design. Okay. So, in that case your SDL will also help. SDL also has a modeling style in behavior structure also. So, that we will see in future classes. In the last aspects of the hardware design is called as physical design. So, it deals with the physical organization of the hardware layout. At the same time, it also deals with the placement and routing of the components. So, this is actually to give you an overview of a digital or analog hardware design, how the ICs are being fabricated or produced. So, the next slide actually contains a design flow where these entire aspects are divided into various steps. Okay. So, that is why I put this slide, so that you can understand that design flow with aspect of the with respect to the aspect of the hardware design. Okay. So, when your design is over, your synthesis is done, your transistor level netlist is done. So, next is to lay down your hardware cells inside a die area. Okay. So, for that few keywords used in industry called placement and routing. So, placements are the process where you can place your standard cell inside a particular die area. So, die area is the area where what is given by the industry for your fabrication. Okay. And after the placement of the cells are over, then you have to connect individual cell with each other. So, those are called as routing of the components. So, these aspects are coming under physical aspects of the hardware design. Okay. So, summary of this slide is a complete information on the hardware requires a combination of both the behavioral and structural details. So, when a behavioral person is designing a system or working on a particular specification to design a system, he is dealing or he is targeting his functionality or timing or speed of the system. But while we will come up with the entire IC and system into the market, so at that time we have to completely rely on both the behavioral as well as structural aspect of the design, because how you are designing the what structure you are taking and how you are connecting, that also matter, because timing will, power and area will again it will affect your design. Okay. So, for complete information of a hardware, we have to have a combination of the knowledge of the behavioral as well as the structural. So, once it is done, your system or IC for the specific system is or specific system specification is done, then we use the physical aspect to just do the fabrication of the IC. Okay. So, next is I have taken a VLSI design flow. There are few stops are there, maybe I will tell in the next class. These are first 3-4 classes will be theoretical aspect. So, to make those interesting, we should start with a VLSI design flow. So, this design flow actually I have taken from one site which is mentioned below. It is Virginia Tech University VTVT VLSI design flow. If you will ping in Google, it will come. So, this actually the design, there are many design flow available in the books and internet sources. This design flow I took because this give an insight of CAD perspective. That means, what are the processes are there also written. At the same time, if you will see in red color, they are given that what are the tools you need to learn and implement the corresponding design in that tools to understand the entire VLSI design flow. Okay. So, I can't say that this design flow is very hard, but if it is initial beginner, we always emphasize that you go through the design flow, try to understand it, and you summarize that in which domain you want to work, and accordingly you have to take a path. Okay. So, if you will see, this entire design flow is divided into two parts. One side it is digital design, another side is analog design, and you will find there are lots of words are written which are actually keywords in VLSI industries. These are maybe new things for a beginner. So, digital design I will first list out the corresponding labels or corresponding keywords. In digital design, you will find like system level design, then behavioral level design, then there is a process called synthesis, then there is a another gate level simulation, there is another process, and then the layout. So, layout you can say it is a physical aspect of your design. Okay. So, in digital we mostly divide the entire IC design process into two parts, mostly digital design and analog design. So, most of the ICs available in the market today are mixed signal design. So, you will never find one IC where there is no digital design, also there is no analog design. So, if you will see an example of any microprocessor today, which is a digital design, on the chip of that microprocessor you will find one ADC, okay, which is used to convert analog to digital conversion. So mostly all the designs are mixed signal type design. Okay, so there are various level of engineers will be involved to design that IC. It is not possible to do the design by one man or one engineer. Okay, so there will be persons those who are working in digital domain, there will be persons those who are working in analog domain, and all of them has to be design their design separately, and that has to be integrated at one place. So you can just imagine if there are multi millions of transistors, then how complex is the system. Okay. So to make the things easy, so industry people have suggested many various CAD tools, computer aided design tools. So those tools are mentioned here. So those tools help us also to learn the process easily and carry out many things automatically. Okay. So but again you need to have a proper knowledge of the design flow and you can say fundamentals of circuit as well as digital design, and at the same time the knowledge of using the tool. Okay. So, so let us start with digital design, and then we will go to analog design, and finally towards end the fabrication part will come. So, in digital design you can say the keywords are like system level design. So, in that there is a functional simulation. Let us understand the keywords first, then we can discuss individual block. And here they have written C, MATLAB and System C. So, C, MATLAB you might be knowing already, and then coming to behavioral level simulation where again as this is a behavioral level, so you have to specify the behavior of the design. Okay. So, here also we will go for a functional check, timing check. So, here you can use like SDL to do. So, here they have written VSDL here. So, also Verilog SDL can be used for the purpose. After that, this synthesis is a process. So, these are all the blocks are the different abstraction level, these are the different steps, but out of this simulation is a process, okay, and synthesis is another process. So, what are those we will see. Then after that let us say we are having gate level simulation. So, that has to be again check for its functional accuracy, timing check, power also. When gates are coming, it should have certain time and power characteristic. So, time and power has to also be checked. Okay. So, after that this is your layout, which I told that this is also the physical aspect of your hardware. So, here only the layout of the design will be done in terms of silicon. Okay. So, here you will find keywords called DRC. DRC stands for design rule check. LVS stands for layout versus schematic. Okay. So, we will go slowly and try to understand the flow. Let us understand this very perfectly, then only you will have an interest to go ahead with the rest of the syllabus. Okay. So, once once digital design is over, at the same time if you will see the analog design, we will discuss the blocks individually again. So, if you will see the analog design, here this starts from the circuit level. So, in analog you will never find any gates. Okay. So, it will start from circuit. So, wherever some design you are doing, always one phase of simulation will be involved. Okay. So, that is that functionality checking or functional simulation is there. So, here they have written a tool called Cadence. Then again one circuit is there means it is transistor, right. So, transistor followed by it has to be again pass through the physical aspect, that is layout. Okay. Then DRC, LVS, design rule check, layout versus schematic. Then after that transistors are like SDL we use to code gate level netlist. SPICE is one coding language which is used to code the transistor level netlist. Okay. So, we have to see individual SPICE coding of your entire analog design, and we have to verify its functionality from that SPICE simulation, and followed by its timing and power analysis also we have to do. So, if it is a mixed signal design, you are done with the digital design at the same time analog design, then next step is to you have to go for IC fabrication. Okay. So, mostly your reconfigurable system design deals with this left side of design area. Analog system mixed signal system design you will read in next semester, that deals with this right side of the design flow. Okay. And the below area is only one area where you have to company or vendor with whom you are going to fabricate your IC. Here it is written processing technology. Okay. So, you are fabricating one IC and that IC will be mapped to a corresponding technology. Okay. So, each technology will have its transistor specifications. So, the W by L ratio of the transistor will be fixed for that particular W by L ratios are specified by the company, but for a particular technology the L will be fixed. So, W will vary according to your design requirement. Okay. So, you can see here TSMC, IBM, these are the company. TSMC stands for Taiwan Semiconductor Corporation. So, they provide, we have to sign MOU with them to acquire the library from them. Okay. So, they will provide us the real library. That library are also in digital design terminology called as standard cell library. Okay. So, what they will do is they will give you corresponding all those digital gates like AND gate, NAND gate, up to till flip flops, memories, all the cells they will provide you. Okay. And those cells will be fabricated at their fabrication unit, and they will be having all the characteristic of that cell, that is actually a layout or hardware of the design. Okay. So, after fabrication they will find out the characteristics like what is the timing of that cell, like if it is a flip flop, so what is its setup time and hold time. Okay. Similarly, if it is a gate or any other logic circuit, so what is its area requirement or what is its power requirement, all these characteristics they will provide you. Okay. So, depending upon there what we have to do, so with that company we have to sign the MOU depending upon their standard cell. What we have to do, we have to like UMC is another company with whom we fabricated one IC called, there is a program called mini ASIC. So, they given around 1525 micrometer into 1525 micrometer of area where we can fabricate our IC. Okay. So, in that area when it is given, it is something like a square area for QFT package. So, in that they will give the area. So, whatever design is there, that we have to incorporate there. So, first you have to, PNR stands for place and route. So, you have to place the design in that, then correspondingly you have to connect all the designs. Again further these designs has to be connected to VDD and ground of the IC. Okay. So, there are bond pads where VDD, ground, analog inputs, digital input outputs all will be given. So, it is something like putting placing all the cells within a square envelope, and to that envelope all the bond pads will be connected and your IC will look like that. Okay. So, that is actually what is the phase, it is done in the place and route phase. Okay. So, this is again you can say this is physical aspect only. Okay. So, here also as it is transistor level design and layout is done. So, out from the layout we will also created again a SPICE netlist, we will extract the netlist, that will be in terms of transistors only. Okay. And finally, all the analog digital co-simulation will be done, again function, timing and power analysis all will be done, and again DRC, ERC is engineering rule check, LVS I told. So, this has to be done, then finally one file will be created called GDS file, that has to be sent for fabrication. So, in detail of all these things I will tell you, it is to only give you an idea that if you are a beginner, what are the different abstract levels are there, what are the different process are there, okay, and what are the process involved in digital design, in analog design, what are the abstraction level involved in digital design and analog design. And again this below area is a completely different design, though it is a physical aspects. So, most of the time we concentrate on one design only, digital design. So, below is at the aspect where you have to sit and do the things, then only you will understand in a better way. Okay. So, now we can go ahead with a bit detail of the design flow. So, if you will see the digital design flow is a bit complex, it involves lots of more steps than analog design flow. Analog design flows directly starts from the circuit level design, whereas digital design flow it starts from the specification, it after gate level the circuit level will come. Okay. Understood? So that's why digital design flow is a bit you can say a bit complex, and there are lots of tools we need to understand to do the complete the entire process. So first, if you will see, let us discuss about digital design flow. In digital design flow, it is started from system level design. So first, all the before starting any design, we have to fix the specification of the design. Okay. So specifications are simple English language written features of the design, which are collected from the survey of the market or either the experience of the previous users. Okay. So out of the specification, once the specification is finalized, so if it is a digital design, we have to first go to a level called system level design. So in system level design, what we used to do is we take help of like tools like called C, MATLAB or System C, where we will design the things in C or MATLAB or System C, and we will try to validate its functionality. Okay. Let us take an example of, let us say simple example I am giving, let us say 8-bit counter. Okay. So 8-bit counter you want to design. Okay. So if you are designing an 8-bit counter, for the specification part of the specification of the counter, what will be the specification for a counter? So first specification will be like how many bit it is counting. So if it is 8-bit or 4-bit or 16-bit, so that is first thing. Second, what is the clock input? Third is what about the reset, whether it is sometimes we used to call as asynchronous reset or synchronous reset. Okay. And so whether another you can say whether it is a full counting, it is following a full counting sequence or it is following a truncated sequence like BCD decade counter. So once your specifications for your counter is done, okay, similarly you can take example of a FIR filter also. So there also you can design a specification for that FIR filter. So let us go ahead with a counter, because it is a small design which will help you to learn the entire flow. Okay. So once your counter specification is done, so what we can do is we can use the system level design approach to design the counter. So if I will tell you design a counter using C or MATLAB, it is very easy to do, it is not that complex to do, but there are other designs like FIR filter or a big system on chip where there is a camera or a image processing engine. So in that case, in order to, before approaching towards hardware, what we can do is we can first simulate the entire system by using C or MATLAB or System C. System C is actually a combination of hardware description language along with C. Okay. So if design is very complex like SOC or NOC, in that case people use C and System C to design the entire thing. Okay. And you know that MATLAB is usually used in every research institutes, and it has many built in functions. So it help you to design the entire system level design in a easier way. Okay. So that is why when you are designing the system level design, you are only concentrating mostly on the functionality aspect of the design. That means whether your specifications are met or not, or whether your function is accurate or not. Okay. We are not dealing anyway in terms of any hardware. Okay. So we are dealing only a functionality type of thing. Okay. So once that is done, you are satisfied that my counter is working fine. The next step is we should approach towards hardware. So in digital design, in order to approach towards hardware, so we use hardware description language. Okay. So there are lots of interesting stories related to SDL. SDL actually, VHDL first started during World War II. So when actually all the people are all the industry people they are making their own hardware for war purpose. So at that time they do not have any specific standard. So that is why they thought that if we will have a specific language for modeling digital system, then that language can be reused over entire companies. So in this way, what will happen, your one fellow can understand the language or hardware of the other, means other who have designed, that can be understood by another company. So that will make the things easy, and you can prototype the product in faster rate. Okay. So in that phase only the SDL comes into market, then later on IEEE taken VHDL to standardize it, so that it can be used by Electrical and Electronic Society of Engineers. Then followed by the Verilog also is one of the SDL language is there. So once your counter design is satisfied through through the system level, then we have to write the same code or replace the same code by using hardware description language. Okay. So hardware description language are, you can say, like these are the languages where inbuilt functions are there for each gates. So for AND gate they will have a function. The function will be written in such a way that if it will resembles with the property of the AND gate, like one of the input of the gate is 0 means output will be 0. Okay. Similarly, for XOR gate, if both the inputs are similar or same, then means output is 0. Similarly, function will be written. So what we have to do, we have to call those functions or those gates. We can use directly, no need to call those function, we can use those gates directly to code. Like if you want to develop a AND gate, you can simply write down y and y is equal to a and b. In VHDL I am telling. So AND will be one function available in the VHDL library. Okay, you can say primitive gates. So when a and b input will be given, and will do the ANDing operation, and the output will be available at the y terminal, which is the output terminal. So so that's why we use the SDL. So by using SDL coding, we can model now the counter. So that specific language is actually we will try to study in this particular course. Okay. So once the modeling of the see, initially you did in C and MATLAB. C and MATLAB are no way related to any hardware description language. They can't create hardware directly from their language construct, but there are tools nowadays which are intermediate tools created by C or MATLAB related engineers for their better sake, where they can directly transform C to SDL. Okay, but those SDLs will be much complex. You will never have a hold on those SDLs. It will be automatically generated. It will be complex to understand also. So in that context, you can write one SDL code, replace all the whatever in counter is there. The counter simple logic you can write like output is C out is equal to C out plus 1. So it will keep on, if 0 is there, it will add it with 1. So similarly, it will in a loop, it will keep on adding with each other. With 0, 1, 2, 3, like that it will do an up counter. So if you want a down counter, you can do C out is equal to C out minus 1. Understood? So like this we can write down a small code for a counter design. Okay. So once those code will be written by using the standard gates or primitive gates available in the SDL, then you will have a netlist with you, that is actually called as RTL netlist, register transfer level netlist. Okay. In reality, most of the designs are clock based design. You will never find any design where clock is not there. In the day to day life also, we always require that our system should be more faster. So when the fast slow is coming into account, then clock plays a vital role in deciding the speed of the system. Okay. So at the same time, so depending upon the clock, we can decide that how this what is the rate of speed of the counter. Okay. So now once there is a netlist, RTL level netlist I was discussing. In RTL level netlist, what happens if reality, if there is a clock in all the designs, when there is a clock, one of the basic constructs of clock is that you might have read in digital electronics, wherever there is a clock you will get a flip flop as a part of the hardware. So that means it is used to store some memory or act as a memory to store some data. Okay. So it acts as a register only. So in this type of design, what we are writing in SDL with clock based design, these are called as register transfer level logic. So in intermediate steps, each block may create registers, and in those registers the data will be transferred and saved and again subsequently used by the next level of blocks. Okay. So, that is why it is called RTL level logic. Okay. So, now you are having a RTL level logic with you. Okay. So, and that is written in SDL. Okay. So, now next step is we should go more towards your hardware design. Okay. So, just imagine we started from system level with C MATLAB. C MATLAB are no concern with SDL or hardware, and now we have transformed if my functionality of the system is okay in system level, and once it is done then we go for towards a hardware approach. So, for that sake we have replaced entire C or MATLAB coding with a SDL coding. So, now you have written the code in SDL, those SDLs are till now not the real gates, these are actually the functions available in the SDL library. Okay, because these are used for initially we will use this for simulation. So, that is why here also it is written that you have to do a functionality check and you can do a timing check. So, there are actually two types of timing checks available, one is called as static timing check and another is called dynamic timing check. So, when I am doing a AND gate simulation, okay, so A, B are input and Y is an output. So, I can give A1, B1, I have to observe that what is the value of Y. So, it will be obviously 1. So, we have to give that 1 or 0 in form of text structures, that is called as test range. You know test range waveform, 1010 waveform we can give. So, 1 will be stand for a particular time period. Let us say if 0 nanosecond I start, up to 10 nanosecond it is 1, then after 10 to 20 nanosecond it will be 0. Like that we create a square waveform to give as input to A, and similarly you can give for a B. So, these types of waveform simulations are called as dynamic timing simulation. Okay. So, the output will vary with respect to time parameter in the x axis. Okay. And static timing simulation is bit complex. So, that we will discuss towards the end of this syllabus. Okay. So, the timing check here can be of dynamic based check. So, you can just imagine in system level you did one phase of simulation, in behavioral level you did another phase of simulation, okay, and in each phase you have to do simulation. So, hardware is so precious that in each phase we have to do simulation and we have to assure that our hardware in each step is correct as far as functionality is concerned. Understood? Okay. So, now once this is done, now you are having a RTL level netlist with you, which is nothing but it is a combination of the gates or standard cells available in the SDL library. Okay. So, now what we have to do? We have to transform those gates in SDL library to real gates available with any company or vendors with whom you are going to fabricate your IC. Understood this point? So, that means SDL gates are there, those are actually the replica where we can simulate in PC and understood that, observe that our design is correct as per the specification. Okay. So, now what we have to do? We have to replace those gates in the design by standard gates taken from the vendors with whom you are going to fabrication, you are going to fabricate your design. So, one of the vendors listed here, TSMC, IBM, UMC one company is there, AMS one company is there, and we have SCL one in our India Semiconductor Chip Corporation Limited in Chandigarh, where it is actually basically fabricate IC for ISRO for their own this satellite communication and all. There are two terminology coming here into account, one is called library, another is called technology. Okay. So, technology is something whatever written here is 0.25 micrometer, 0.18 or 0.13. So, it is in turn you can say 250 nanometer, 180 nanometer or 130 nanometer. So, nowadays we are in 22 nanometer or so, but still in academics we use 180 nanometer because it is cheaper, also sometimes our requirement also fulfill in that design. If it is not that high speed or low power, we do not require, 180 nanometer is also sufficient. Okay. So, here we can say the channel length of the transistor is fixed. So, that will be 180 nanometer, it will never be changed, W will change. So, it stands for the technology of the design library. So, that library consists of lots of gates. In each gate the transistor will have a channel length of 180 nanometer. So, technology is, you can say, TSMC 0.18 micrometer technology, understood, but library will be built upon those technology only. So, for different technology we will have different libraries. Okay. So, whatever technology you want, depending upon that individually you have to sign MOU. Okay. So, those libraries they will target to a particular tools. So, there are tools called Synopsys and Cadence. So, why it target to a tools, because you have done a RTL design. So, you have till now we know about a process called simulation. So, simulation is a simple process we generally use in each phase of our even if you can say circuit simulation also we used to do to give input and observe that your functionality of the design or circuit is okay or not. Okay. So, there are once RTL design is done, so next important step is called, here it is written called synthesis. Okay. So, synthesis is a process which will take a RTL level netlist and it will create a gate level netlist for you. Okay. So, RTL level netlist is a netlist which consists of gates from the SDL library. Okay. And the output of the synthesis is a gate level netlist which consists of the gates from the vendor given library. Okay. That is why we have input this technology to this side. So, synthesis takes input as a vendor related information of library and technology. At the same time it takes also a input from the RTL level netlist. Are you getting my point? Okay. So, this now synthesis is actually optimized routing algorithm, optimized algorithms are written which will replace those SDL gates by these real gates given by the vendor. Are you getting my point? Okay. So, now you will have a finally out as a output of the synthesis you will have a gate level netlist which is which contains real gates given by the company. Okay. So, now again once you got a gate, so again there also you have to do a phase of gate level simulation. So, synthesis is actually in literal meaning of synthesis is you can say any form of shape it will come. That means, it is something like chemical people use synthesis in there also, like a chemical is there you find out the composition of the chemical any chemical given. So, that is they are synthesizing the chemical to find out what is its composition. So, similarly in electronics or electrical circuit also we do circuit synthesis. Okay. So, synthesis is a form where you will get a physical design with you, real gates here will get with out of a RTL level logic design. Okay. So, now as these are the gates given by the vendor, so they will provide its own timing and power requirements. So, here what we can see here the power analysis comes. Okay. So, now you can analyze those gates with, you have to simulate first, verify the output of this and output of this should be same. Okay. At least there should be a less deviation, it should not be like 50% deviation or more or less. Understood my point? Because if deviation is 10%, then you can think of, if 50% deviation means your design is not accurate or mapping is not properly done. Actually, this is called mapping. In synthesis, there are lots of algorithms will be there. They will map the SDL gates with the corresponding, replace and map the SDL gates with corresponding vendor given gates. Okay. And so, out of this you will get again a gate level netlist, and this also gate level netlist is written in SDL language only. Are you getting my point? So, here there is an SDL which is written in SDL language, sorry, here you are having an RTL coding which is written in SDL language, and here also you are having a gate level netlist which is written in SDL only. So, that means anyway you do in whatever you do in the front level, in the background one level of coding you have to do. Okay. So, finally, you will get a gate level netlist. That gate level netlist again has to be verified for a functionality check, followed by a timing analysis check. It may be here you can do static timing as well as dynamic timing also, and also you have to verify the power analysis. So, if you are working for a portable device and your power of the IC is very high, then your design will not meet the market requirement. Okay. And this entire process will take time also. Okay. So, that is why there is very less chance of doing mistakes, else you will lose the market directly. Okay. So, here so for doing gate level this synthesis and other aspects, here some tools. This VHDL is a language. Synopsys is one of the company, EDA vendor tools company, who produce a tool, a bunch of tool they produce. So, actually you can visit their site by going synopsys.com. So, out of these tools around there is a tool called Design Compiler. We use Design Compiler to do the synthesis. So, Design Compiler is a tool, or Design Vision, nowadays it is called as Design Vision. Design Vision is a tool which is designed in such a way that it will replace or it will create a optimized gate level netlist for you. Okay. So, for that the entire process you have to learn, that is there in next semester we will teach you in the ASIC design lab. Okay. So, and that tool also will do power analysis for you. So, you have to understand what is the power output. So, if your power output does not meet, then you have to apply certain low power methodology to your design, again do the process again, so that your power will be minimized. Okay. So, once it is done, synopsis is done, now you are with gate level netlist with you. Okay. So, now gates are in lower level hierarchy, it represents through transistors, understood. So, like 2 input NAND gate. So, in internally you have to take a, if it is a CMOS logic, you have to take 2 NMOS and 2 PMOS to design a 2 input NAND gate, understood my point. So, similarly all the gate level netlist internally, what is gate? So, vendor will give you gate, but internally it will be transistors only. It is a combination of transistors that is fabricated to form a gate, or standard cell we call it. Okay. So, now the transistor level netlist, again gate will be by tools also, as the digital design consists of multi-million of transistor. So, by using the tool will help make our life very easy. Okay. But again understanding and doing the having the knowledge of the tool is again important. It cost more also to if you learn outside, and tools are also costly. So, those tools are available now in we are having. So, it is a good opportunity for you also to sit and learn the things. Okay. Because if you will go outside, you will never get the tool, and at the same time if somewhere here you can sit and learn on your own, outside if you are going, you have, they may charge you very huge amount. Okay. So, so once transistor level netlist is there, so now next step is to do the layout. So, in layout we will design, we will lay out the siliconization version of the transistor in terms of a fabrication, mass fabrication. Okay. So, you know that maybe you know that there is a method called stick diagram. So, by using stick diagram we can transform the transistor level netlist to an equivalent stick diagram, which consists of the different layer of the transistor. In short, if there is a NMOS transistor, you know that there will be one N diffusion in both sides, and there will be a body, and in between there will be a polysilicon, then there will be oxide coating, then in the top you may have a aluminum as a connection for drain, gate and source in CMOS logic. So, this entire thing has to be done in terms of a stick, like we can have a one diffusion, we can have it one run the diffusion, poly will be, when one N diffusion will cross a poly, one NMOS will be formed. There are certain rules are there. So, similarly when a P diffusion will cross a polysilicon, one PMOS will be formed. So, if you will connect one NMOS PMOS accurately according to a CMOS inverter, then that silicon layer of NMOS PMOS will form a stick diagram for a inverter, for an inverter. Okay. Similarly, you have to add certain dimension for those stick diagram, it will form the layout of an inverter. Okay. So, all this lab you are going to do in VLSI design lab. Okay. So, layout is actually an physical aspect, it is coming under physical aspect, it is an representation of your transistors. Okay. So, when we do a mask layout, so each polysilicon, each layers, polysilicon, diffusion, and you can say aluminum is for connecting the different like drain to contact points. So, or sometimes VDD to drain, something like that. So, all these things are certain inherent dimension. Okay, so these dimensions are described by the company. The same vendor will describe that if you want to run an aluminum, it has to be have of certain width, it has to be of certain length. Okay. So, like sometimes it is called as lambda rules we use. So, aluminum can have a 3 lambda of distance, where lambda will be the technology we use. Okay. So, depending upon that, we have to put to the corresponding stick diagram the corresponding minimum width dimensions, so that that stick diagram will be transformed to a mask layout. Okay. So, that layout again has to be passed through 2 checks, one is called design rule checker, another is called layout versus schematic checker. Now, whatever design rule given by the vendor, like what is the minimum width of the layer, what is the overlapping of a layer, because one layer crossing another layer. So, that should be how much it should cross above or below, that has a limitation, that is called overlapping. Okay. So, those has to be verified, because if it is not verified, so always company wants that when you are sending IC for fabrication, it should be DRC free, means you are just obeyed their design rule whatever they have given. So, if there are tools given by all the companies like Synopsys, and Cadence is another company mostly used in physical level also, apart from synthesis and simulation. Okay. They are well proof in doing place and route, final IC placing and route, adding bond pads. For that Cadence is mostly industry use, also Synopsys, but Cadence mostly they opted for it. So, okay. So, by those tool, help of those tool, we have to find out the DRC, design rule check. If there is some layer didn't pass any rule, then they will inform that this is violation, they will tell rule violation, then we have to correct it according to the rule given. Okay. Then LVS is the step where we will verify that it will check for layout versus schematic. So, now you might have got a gate level simulation, in that few number of gates followed by transistors will be there. So, tools will give you those gate level netlist figure, it will give, and you will have a gate level coding also. Now, when you will do layout, so it will again consist of that gate. We can have before layout we will have a certain amount of gate level netlist, or you can say it can be converted to transistor level netlist also. After layout is done, what will happen, we use different phases called extraction. So, from the silicon layer transistors will be created. Okay. So, those transistors which are created, those are real fabricated transistors used for fabrication. So, those transistor layout based transistor, and the schematic, from schematic we can extracted one transistor netlist. So, those has to be matched. Sometimes what happen, like in gate level netlist you are having 100 transistor, after layout by chance you have missed one transistor, and that is not reflecting in the functional output. Maybe there are n number of 10 number of different input combinations are there, you have not checked one input combination. So, there may be a chance that one transistor is missed, and that particular combination you are not checking in the functional simulation. So, what it will do is, if you will do layout versus schematic check, then it will check those transistors before your layout is done, or in schematic level extracted transistors, and in layout level extracted transistors. So, physically it will check the number of transistors. Okay. So, in that aspect your DRC and LVS are done. Okay, we will stop here. Next class I will continue from here.